Hey guys, it's Christy and welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me. Today we're going to be ranking all of my concealers. So before we get into it, I hope you'll consider subscribing to my channel before you leave. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy, and let's get into it. Alright you guys, so I realized I have 16 concealers in my collection, which is way too many, but I generally really like a lot of these. So coming in at number 16 is the Tarte C Hydro Sealer. This one is fine. It's just a very, very light coverage and I really don't feel like it does much. I mean, this is obviously a mini. It is a hydrating concealer, but I really don't feel like it gives much coverage, and it really doesn't do anything special outside of that. I mean, I do have concealers that are definitely a lighter coverage and just in general look nicer. So for that reason, I did kind of put this one at the bottom. But one that I also don't really like, that a lot of people absolutely swear by, is at number 15, and this is the Too Faced Born This Way Multi-Use Sculpting Concealer. So I know everybody loves this one. I just don't. I find the shade range just in general pulls way too yellow. You do get a lot of coverage with this and it does work great for that. It's mostly about the shade for me that I don't like. It is very, very full coverage, which I don't mind, but I just hate how yellow it is, and that's just not what I'm going for. I also do find it a little bit heavy, which I don't super love. So this one is number 15. Coming at number 14 is a concealer that I believe was new this year, and this is the Revlon Color Stay Skin Awaken Caffeine and Vitamin C 5-in-1 Concealer. So this one is a super light coverage option. It is very lightweight. It comes in a very similar sort of applicator that the Maybelline Age Rewind does. So I think that's why this one is falling down a little bit. It is a little lighter coverage than I would like, but it also comes in this type of applicator, which initially feels really nice on the skin, but again, it's just not the most sanitary, and I always kind of complain about these types of applicators. So that is why this one's ranking just a little bit lower. It's just, there's not enough coverage for me personally, and that applicator is not my favorite. I would much rather it be a doe foot, but for that reason this one is ranking a little bit lower, but it's not a bad concealer if you are looking for a more lightweight, very light coverage option. Number 13 is another concealer that everybody seems to love, and this isn't one that I dislike for any huge reason, and I think this one is simply just a shade issue, and I might like it a little bit more if I had a better shade. But this is the Pat McGrath concealer, and everybody seems to swear by this. It's fine, it gives great coverage, but again, I got the shade L4, which I think was supposed to be neutral, but it's very yellow. I think you can tell. The doe foot's fine, the coverage is fine, it feels nice on the skin. It's a very high-end component. It's got like a really beautiful glass tube. It's really nice. It's just that the shade range is a little confusing when you're trying to order online, and also it's just really, really, really expensive. So for something that is just yellow and expensive, I did put this a little lower. I am probably just going to end up mixing this with other concealers I have that are a better shade match for me to get this used up, but for that reason, the Pat McGrath does rank a little lower in my own collection. Coming at number 12 is another concealer I believe that was pretty new this year. This is the LYS Triple Fix Full Coverage Concealer. So I do like this one. I think it provides a nice light medium coverage. It doesn't make the under eyes look heavy or crepey or anything like that. I do like that. I do find I have the shade LG3, and it does pull a bit yellow, which we know I don't like. My issue is mainly with the component because it's just a little bit too tight. So it can sort of make a mess if you have to pull it too hard and then drops of concealer come out. So I don't love that. I think the packaging is pretty. I think the product is nice in general. It's just a bit too yellow, and the packaging flaw had to kind of count against it a little bit. Okay, number 11. And I'm really realizing that most of these products from this point on, in general, I do really like. So that makes me happy that I've, for the most part, been curating a concealer collection that I do like. And I've also used up 2 concealers this year, so that is also exciting. Coming at number 11 is my e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer. I do like this one. Obviously, I've got a ton of it used, and you can finally see just how much of this product I have used. I also currently have this in my project pan because I'm trying to use it up. It's a good concealer. It's definitely very hydrating, very full coverage. I, in general, really do enjoy it. I have the shade Fair Beige, which is a pretty good match for me. There's nothing at all wrong with it. It's just not what some of the others are. So coming at number 10 is from Milani, and this is the Conceal and Perfect Concealer. And this one is one that I kind of forget that I have, but it is really nice. The shade is actually perfect on this one. It just, again, it has a cute little doe foot. It's a great concealer. I don't know why I haven't reached for this one recently, so I might leave this one out and use it more. It's definitely got a ton of coverage to it, but it doesn't look too heavy under the eyes. The shade's great. It's a drugstore concealer, so for that reason, I do really, really like this one. And then coming at number 9 is another drugstore concealer that I really enjoy. This is the Revlon Photo Ready Candid Antioxidant Concealer. So this one has like really nice coverage, and it's very, I almost want to say silky the way it glides on, and it's a very, very smoothing concealer. I also really enjoy the doe foot of this. It's just really soft, really nice the way it applies the product. The shade isn't 100% perfect. I have the shade Fair. I'm not sure if there's a lighter shade, but if there is, I think it would be a little bit better for me. But I do really enjoy this concealer. This is one of my very favorites at the drugstore. It's just a very, very smooth concealer, which I really, really do enjoy. Okay, coming at number 8 is one that I really love for coverage, and I like the shade, but this is the Dose of Colors Meet Your Hue Concealer. So this one's really nice. I do have the shade 04 Fair, and this is lovely. I love the coverage. I love the doe foot on this. Like, it's got a really nice large doe foot as well. Again, great coverage, not too heavy. It doesn't make the under eyes look very, very creepy. What I don't like is that it smells like paint thinner. So that's why this one does rank a little bit lower, but this was a favorite of mine for a while. I do still think it's a great concealer, and if you can get past that scent, then I would recommend this one. It's kind of like the Wet n Wild foundation that a lot of people really, really seem to love, but is just paint thinner scented, and I can't stand it. So for that reason, this one does fall down on me a little bit. Coming in at number 7 is a concealer that I recently reviewed here on my channel, and this is the Too Faced Born This Way Ethereal Light Concealer. So I like this one. I think it's really nice. It gives a solid medium coverage, solid light to medium coverage. It looks really pretty. It's definitely got a certain luminosity, so if you don't like kind of a luminous product right under the eyes, I would recommend either just powdering this down or skipping it altogether, but I do think it is a really nice product. The packaging on this is gorgeous. And then it does have a smaller doe foot, but I really do like the doe foot on this one. And then the shade of this is so nice. It is perfect for me. I have the shade Oatmeal, so it actually does have that more pinkier undertone, which I have never been able to get with Too Faced before. Like I said, their Born This Way concealer that everybody loves, it's so yellow. And this one is literally a perfect shade. It actually works for my cooler undertone. So I really, really like that. I like the doe foot. I like the radiance. It's a little more radiant than I would like right under the eyes, but a little bit of powder takes that right away. And it just looks really, really nice. So I really have been enjoying this one. I think this is a great little concealer. Coming at number 6 is a drugstore option that I really love. This is definitely a more full coverage concealer. This is the CoverGirl True Blend Undercover Concealer. So this one has been a favorite for a while. This one is not drying at all on the under eyes. It has a massive, massive doe foot, but it's so full coverage, but it's not too heavy, and it blends out really well. I have the shade Classic Ivory, so it's a very neutral undertone. It doesn't pull yellow, it doesn't pull pink, it's just right in the middle, and it's beautiful. So I do think this is a wonderful option from the drugstore. At number 5 is the most recent concealer that I tested out, and this is the Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin Radiant Concealer. I like this. I like this quite a bit. This reminds me a lot of that Too Faced concealer. I do think the packaging is, of course, beautiful, very on brand for Charlotte Tilbury. It does have a really tiny doe foot, and it does have a little bit, it's definitely more medium coverage. It's absolutely not heavy. It is very lightweight. On the under eyes, it gives a good medium coverage. I do feel like it lasts a little bit longer than the Too Faced. So for that reason, I do like this one a little bit more. But I do think this is a really, really great concealer. I did not get to try Charlotte's Magic Vanish Concealer. I think that was the first one she came out with. I think it's still available, but I never tried that one because I didn't hear good things. This one is great though. I would recommend this one. If you're looking to pick up a concealer from the brand, I would absolutely recommend this one. Okay, coming at number 4 is another drugstore option, and this is the NYX Bare With Me Concealer Serum. So I've definitely stated that I prefer a little more coverage in my concealers, and that's why this one is number 4, because the formula of this is so good. I actually really, really like the pump applicator because it really does allow you to get just the teeniest, tiniest pump. And I like how you can see how much you've used up as well. This is definitely a lighter coverage, but it looks so nice on the under eyes. It is so beautiful. It is super lightweight. Like, you kind of almost forget that you're wearing a concealer. It looks that good. And you can incorporate this with a full face of makeup. It still looks great. I really, really enjoy this. I think this is a really great quality product from NYX. So comfortable, so hydrating, not at all heavy, lighter coverage, but it gives you enough, and I love this. Okay, coming at number 3 is a concealer I've been working on figuring out my opinion for a while, and I don't even know if I've mentioned it yet. This is the Huda Beauty Faux Filter Concealer. So this was also released earlier this year, and I do love this. So the packaging is really, really cute. And I love the doe foot. It's a lot like the doe foot from the Revlon concealer that I enjoy. I think the Revlon's a little bit silkier in texture, but this is so full coverage, but the way it blends out so flawlessly, oh, I love this. I really, really have been enjoying this concealer a lot. This gives me a ton of coverage. It's not super heavy. It doesn't make my under eyes look heavy or crepey. And it's so, so, so nice. I have the shade Royal Icing 1.1N, so it's definitely very neutral and it's very light, but it looks so good. And I think she's got a really great shade range for this. So I would highly recommend this concealer from Huda. All right, we are now at the top 2, and they are both releases from last year. Coming at number 2 is the ABH Magic Touch Concealer. So this is a great one. It really, really is. You get a huge tube of this. The doe foot is giant, but it's also just got this really nice tip at the end, so you can really get into that inner corner. This gives such a great full coverage, but it's also super hydrating, so it doesn't look heavy or dry. It looks so good on the under eyes especially. So I really, really do still love this. And coming at number 1, if you are familiar with my channel, it's still the One Size Turn Up the Base Butter Silk Concealer. I love this concealer so, so, so much. This made my best of the year for 2021, and you can see I've used a ton of this, and it definitely does have like a cute little doe foot applicator. I love the applicator on this one, but I love this in general. It gives such a great full coverage, but it's not at all drying or heavy. It blends out so, so nicely. I love using this. I was honestly going to put it in my project pan because I've used so much and I would enjoy using it every day, but I decided to go with the e.l.f. and kind of get that one used up. But I really do love this. And I've tried a lot of new concealers this year, which isn't really like me, but I've definitely tried a lot. But that is it for this concealer ranking. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know down below your most favorite concealers. Maybe there's some that I should test out. I did actually finish up my NARS Creamy Radiant and my Maybelline Age Rewind this year, so I was really proud of that. Thank you so very much for watching. If you're new here, I hope you'll consider subscribing before you go. I do upload at least 3 new videos every single week. And that is it for me today. Thank you again so very much for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!